So for you, Taurus, you have the Four of Swords, Page of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. So a lot of you, Taurus, are very much so ready for anything. Um, People who would pretty much waste your time are not qualified to actually have any kind of opinion or perspective as to what it is that you're doing, right? Obviously, they have a right to pontificate and guess and assume and do whatever else they're going to do. But a lot of you, Taurus, are not paying attention to that anymore. You don't care about that because, like I said, they don't know anything about you. They don't want to know anything about you. So, considering the fact that they don't even really want to try to get to know you, they're just interested in running game. You, Taurus, are realizing that you shouldn't care about those type of things. So there's definitely, for you, Taurus, a reorganization of what's important. And obviously the things that you care about, should care about, and the things that you shouldn't care about and you don't. The Judgment in the Seven of Wands represents, because when you take a look at what's in their closet, these people are ultimately dysfunctional themselves, really. They're dysfunctional. But they're trying to shift the blame for some reason or another onto you, and it just comes off as strange. The Nine of Wands represents, but once again, a lot of you, Taurus, are not listening to the people that spend so much time being upset with you, doubting you, talking trash about you. A lot of you, Taurus, very much so are living your lives, enjoying it, and you're not worried about what naysayers has to say, right? What they have to say. The disrespect or the having to metaphorically throw you up underneath the bus just so that they could feel better about themselves. You don't care about that. And because now you have that mentality, that philosophy, you have the Ace of Pentacles, which is now you, Taurus, are starting to understand that anyone can have their perspective on things, but you shouldn't really care so much about what others think so much like that. You know, people say all types of goofy stuff about me. They talk about what I'm into. They talk about my skin tone. They talk about, the country that I was born in. I've heard it all. My curl pattern. It's like, listen, okay, and I don't know. I don't know if they expect that to work. I don't know what, you know what I mean? But it doesn't anymore. And that's the same thing that a lot of you, Taurus, are going through. Whatever kind of love woes that a lot of you are having, where people will come in, waste your time. The best thing for you to do is to not care so much. Like where I was personally, right? Just to be transparent with y'all, where I was when I was like 14, 15, like I would be distraught. Like I would be very upset, noticeably, And now where I am, do I still get upset? Yeah, when somebody does a bunch of stupidness, but I don't really get as upset as whatever. And I still have the same energy levels. You know what I mean? It's just that now it's like I understand not to get myself so caught up like that, because I have way more experience. And that's the same thing that a lot of you, Taurus, have to understand. These experiences that you've had in your life, getting to know other people romantically and why those things don't work out, is to really ultimately get you to a point of this one, where you, Taurus, understand that you don't have to cling on to somebody so much, or I should say so tightly, in order for them to like you. If they don't understand the value that a lot of you, Taurus, bring to the table, you shouldn't have to convince them. And there's way too many people trying to convince others of the value that they proclaim or they act like they bring to the table, but in actuality, they really don't. And the Three of Wands now represents, and a lot of you, Taurus, this is, you freeing yourself up to be how, ultimately be how you want. You really don't have to deal with an individual that, or individuals that you will meet that will try to get you to feel terrible about you towards being yourselves. There's nothing wrong with wanting companionship at all. There's nothing, because there's billions of people on the earth right now that want the same thing that a lot of you Taurus want. Even the people that act like they don't, they're lying. They do want companionship. It's just that you Taurus will probably be the ones to be more transparent about that, you know what I mean, or actually do something about it, as to where most people probably wouldn't even want to do anything about it, and they'll try to act like they're invulnerable, right? They're bothered by nothing touches them. They have this S on their chest and all this other type of stuff, but not a lot of you. And you Taurus have to understand, or you should understand, that that's a PowerPoint. So a lot of you Taurus are on your own coming to the conclusion that, you really shouldn't care about, the kind of pushback that others will give you, because it's not like you're actually doing anything wrong to those people or crossing any kind of lines. It's just that they're bothered by the fact that a lot of you Taurus are honest about, you're becoming more honest about who you are and what you want, without having to be too emotional, without having to rage out, because Taurus, y'all are hotheads on the low, but without having to rage out, without having to be so upset. This is more so about, you Taurus having the ability to come to express your anger and communicate with somebody that, they really disappointed you, because they had an opportunity to get you to get to know you. And instead of them get to know you, honestly, they would rather waste your time for 7 years, play games with you, be on some nonsense, you know what I mean? They do all types of goofy stuff. And then it's like, oh, I won. And it's like, no, you idiot, you didn't win anything. All you've done for the past whatever amount of time, factually, is wasted your own time. Because as much time as you thought that you've wasted with me, I've actually been handling my business. You just don't want to understand that. But then you have the Four of Wands, and then you have the Lovers. The Four of Wands and the Lovers now represents, so now the Four of Wands and the Lovers represents, this is a whole new ballpark. This is a brand new area of existence for a lot of you Taurus, because you have self-respect now. And once again, you're not, like I've been talking about, you are getting to know other people. But the way that you love is way more wholesome now. The way that you interact with others is way more wholesome now, because now it's a situation for you Taurus where you're not giving to a point where you're letting other people take from you, and then you feel burned out, or the fact that you've been allowing people to take more than what it is that they even deserve, or more of what it is that they should even get. Now you Taurus are still willing to give, but at the same time, only what this person has essentially, only you're giving to a point, is what I'm saying, right? Only to a point where this person shows you that they love you, and that they actually value you, and they value themselves, and they don't have to run game and act like they won something. The biggest losers in the world, who are short yellow bus individuals, honestly, are people who, I don't know, like, they act like they've won something for wasting their time. You know what I mean? They act like they've won something for wasting their time, because they're like, yeah, they wasted your time playing all these stupid games. But the stupid prize that they won is, yeah, but that goes both ways. They've wasted their own time also. So they've effectively accomplished nothing special. But if you, but you can't teach dysfunctional individuals how to see life from a more constructive or more of an honest, practical perspective. They're just too deluded for that. And a lot of you Taurus are taking out the bad from the good. If a person is delusional like that, you don't have the time, nor should you even want to go back and forth with them. Just keep it moving. So to clarify the Lovers, right? And you know, I was about to say something, never mind. The Knight of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and then you have the Three of Swords. I was about to say that, and you know, to even go even deeper into that, when you get to a point where you love yourself, a lot of times you take a look at the landscape of the quality that's out here, and then when you assess how many dysfunctional people there are, like, once again, who are not really striving for perfection. They want over comfort. They want to be sitting back on that couch eating a sandwich, you know, eating a Subway sandwich with their significant other and Netflix and chilling it the whole time, when they completely misunderstand what a relationship is. You get to a point where you love yourself correctly, right? Where it's not conceit, it's not self-centeredness, it's self-care, to the point where a relationship to a certain extent is really optional, because now it's like it ranges from partially optional to fully optional, because the Knight of Cups and the Two of Pentacles, you know, it's that frustration of, can people meet you halfway? Or is it that you have to be the one to do all of the putting your dreams down and not actually accomplishing anything, so that ultimately you can find out that the person was wasting your time? No. You Taurus want to be able to provide value, right? How do you provide value? Be a service to other people. And you want other people to do the same thing to you. You don't want this loser type of love, this lovable loser, heartbreaking roller coaster. You know, at one point the person doesn't need you, but then they do, but then they too prideful, false pride to actually say that, but then they're confused themselves. No. So now when you Taurus are dating, as you probably are now, you're trying to get to know people. You probably met a couple of people. You now have way more self-worth based upon, you know, the practice that you've actually done on yourself, the time that it took for you to build up that practice. So to care about yourself. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for now. A lot of you Taurus very much so are still very much so get to know other people, but not a lot of people are really living up to your value like that.